Victor, I can. Hello there, good evening, and welcome to Political Lens on Voice of the People Television, VOP. Now, we are broadcasting on Metro SLTV channel 202. I am Chukwuma Okoro, and today we are looking at the president's appointment since he assumed office and how that fits into the charge of nepotism leveled against him, or how it has reflected the federal character principle enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Oh, well, let's bring in our guest. In our Lagos studio, where we are broadcasting from, we have been joined by Mr. Lawale Kundayo. Mr. Kundayo is a teacher, is a farmer, an agriculturist, as well as a political affairs commentator. Good evening to you, Mr. Kundayo Lawa. Thanks for coming to Political Lens. All right. Okay, we are also joined from Abuja by Prince Nixon Okwara. Now, Nixon is a public affairs analyst. He's director of Onyx Group, national chairman, Igbo stakeholders, and member defunct 2023 APC Presidential Campaign Council. Good evening to you, Mr. Prince Nixon Okwara.
Good evening.
Okay, good evening, Prince Nixon. Good to have you again on Political Lens.
Thank you very much. How are you doing, Chukuma?
Very well, very well. How is the capital city, the FCT?
Well, we're enjoying our secured environment. You know, Abuja of lately has improved, and we're enjoying our road network and everything. Everything is fine.
Okay, it's good to know that security has improved in Abuja. Maybe people should try to extend that kind of secure area to places like Borno, Benue Plateau, Enugu State, Ebonyi State, and all other parts of the country. Anyway, we'll get into all of that. We also have Barrister Asim Adams, who is a lawyer and political affairs commentator. He's going to join us from our Port Harcourt outstation. Well, gentlemen, welcome and thanks for joining us. We appreciate your presence on Political Lens. Now, let's kick into the show. Many Nigerians, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar along with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, a coalition of united political parties, CUPP, and the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, have berated President Bola Tinubu's administration for failing to promote inclusive governance amid ongoing backlash over uneven political appointments since the beginning of his tenure. Well, since the start of President Tinubu's administration, his appointments have sparked mixed reactions among Nigerians, some criticizing them for perceived incompetence, others questioning the appointees' past stance towards the APC government, and some feel they failed to reflect the principle of federal character. In a related development, Senator Alin Dume from Borno State expressed concerns that Tinubu's appointments do not align with the diversity as mandated by Section 14, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Ndume said Tinubu's appointments breached the federal character principle. Well, in an effort to defend the president's appointments, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity and communication, Sunday Dare, released a list on Wednesday showing Tinubu's appointees, that's Wednesday last week, and their respective geopolitical zones. According to the list, 29 appointees were from the Southwest, Tinubu's home region, 35 from the Northwest, 22 from the South-South, 16 from the Southeast, 25 from the North-Central, and 24 from the Northeast. However, critics argued that the list was incomplete, noting the absence of key figures like the Minister of Youth, Ayodele Wisdom, the President's Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Controller General of Nigeria's Immigration Service, Kemi Nandab, all from the Southwest. Well, these omissions further fuel the accusations of regional imbalance in the administration, especially with the Southeast appearing significantly underrepresented. As the list stirred controversy online, Dare took to his X-handle to apologize for the oversight and promised a revised version. Still, he offered no explanation for why Gbajabiamila's name was left out. Well, in response, articles stated that the presidency's attempt to justify its appointments only confirmed the concerns many Nigerians have about alleged nepotism in President Tinubu's administrations. Oh well, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Just yesterday, the president also made fresh appointments, and concerning the 8-man delegation, that was eight-man appointment he made, high-powered appointment he made in the committee for the upcoming census, that is within the National Population Commission, you know. He made 8 fresh appointments, you know, and the breakdown of the appointments was that Atiku Bagudu, who is a Minister of National Planning, who heads the committee, is from the Northwest. Kwara is a member, is from the North Central. Idris, that's Minister of Information, is from the Northwest. Wale Edun, Minister for Finance, is from the Southwest. Adedeji from the Southwest. Odutoshe from the Southwest. Okuola from the Southwest, and Oyade from the Southwest. And just for clarity, the president also, we have appointments that he made to the National Youth Service Corps Minister of Youth Development, Honorable Hilad Eta, chairman from Cross River State. In fairness to him, Nigerian Institution of International Affairs, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Lagos State, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Minister of Aviation, Abdullahi Ganduje, chairman, that's from Kano State, National Sugar Development Council, Sarajuddin Jibola, Osun State, Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading Company, the chairman is Suleiman Agungun, chairman from Kebbi State, National Agency for Great Green Wall, Magnus Abe, River State, National Teachers Institute, Festus Fronta, Plateau State, National Board for Technology Incubation, Kola Wole from Oyo State, Nigerian Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, Victor Tombari Giadom, River State, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Mustafa Salihu, Adamawa State, Industrial Training Fund, and Ali Kumo from Gombe State, Nigerian Institute of Science Laboratory Technology, Eyin Nyawamba from Abia State, and Sheda Science and Technology Complex, Abubakar Maikafi, Bauchi State, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Gawuna, Kano State, National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, Afikuyomi, Lagos State, Nigerian Postal Service, Kekemeke, Ondo State, National Inland Waterways Authority, Sarukin Ada, Sokoto State, National Steel Council, Kana Abubakar, Nasarawa State, National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, Dati Mohammed, Kaduna State, National Biosafety Management Agency, Muazu Rijau, Niger State, and the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute chairman, Kogi State. The chairman is Meseko. We have Zainab Ibrahim for Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe, Taraba State, Nigerian Railway Corporation, and Isiak Opeifa, Lagos State, Federal Teaching Hospital, Ido Ekiti, Oyebode Bankole, Ogun State, Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, Dayo Israel, Lagos State, and Federal Medical Center, Asaba, Alile Idele, Edo State, Federal Medical Center, Lokoja, Chididuru, Anambra State, Federal Medical Center, Owerri, Emma Emuku, Enugu State, Civil Defense Immigration and Prison Services Board, Jibril Abdul Malik, Kano State, Matthew Ofoke, Chairman for Federal Medical Center, Omuahia from Ebonyi State, Federal Medical Center, Yenegoa, Chukwunoye Moka, Delta State, Federal Medical Center, Yola State, Usman Gumel, Jigawa State, David Umahi Federal University of Teaching Hospital, Uburi in Ebonyi State, Ijoma Arodiobu, Imo State, National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, Edward Omo Erewa, Edo State, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The chairman is Hamisu Abubakar, Kaduna State, Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Anambra State, Alebu Kadalori, Chairman, Borno State, Amadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Shika Zaria, Kaduna, and that's Lawan Liman, Chairman from, not stated here. We also have Raw Material Research and Development Council, RMRDC, Isa Sadiq Achida, Sokoto State, Federal Medical Center, Birnin Kudu, and the chairman is Gusau Hassan from Zamfara State, Sokoto River Development Basin Authority, Shehu Wuruno, chairman from Sokoto State, Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Augustine Chukwu Umahi, chairman from Ebonyi State, Federal Scholarship Board, Babatunde Fakoyede from Ekiti State, we also have 72 other different lists, which we are going to call out in the course of the show. Of those 72, the 72 of them are from the Southwest. 72 of them clearly from the Southwest. Now, in all of this, let me start with you, Mr. Ekunda. You are here in Lagos with me. I'd like for you to, after all the list, what's your quick reaction to the appointments the president has made so far based on the charges of nepotism leveled against him? In your estimation, does it look like the accusation of nepotism is real? Because if I read through the 72 lists, I would like my producer to put it on the board, because I have President himself, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the Yoruba man, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kekere-kun, Yoruba, Chief of Army Staff, Olufemi Oluyede, Yoruba, IGP of Police, Ebotokun, Yoruba, DG DSS, Oluwatoshin Ajayi, Yoruba, Commander, Brigade of Guards, Sanya, Yoruba, Chief of Defense Administration, Oluwatoyi, Yoruba, Commander, National Population Procurement, Federal Airports Authority, Bureau of Public Enterprise. Mr. Ekunda, 72 of them occupied by people from the Southwest. What's your broad reaction to the charge of nepotism leveled against the president?
Now, let's look at the purpose.
Okay.
Why the federal character is put in the, is used in the first place.
Okay.
The reason is because power shifts.
Okay.
What I mean by power shift is that it can be your turn today, it can be somebody else's turn tomorrow.
Okay, rotational, power rotation.
Yeah.
From one region to
yeah,
the other.
Anybody can get it. Now, when it is your turn, you have to be fair to others who don't have that power at that moment, so that they can have inclusiveness in the government. You get it? They can have this sense of belonging. That is why that federal character is there. So that if eventually the power leaves your region or you and goes to another region, you get, they too will be able to involve
you'll be a partaker of the fairness that you extended to others.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the main purpose.
Okay.
And that is why everybody is clamoring for it. And that is why I myself am in support of it.
They are in support of federal character.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can't tell me that in one region you cannot find one person who can do one of those jobs in the ministry.
Okay.
You get? So it's not possible for you to now say that the reason why I'm, appointing my own side more than the other is because I cannot find any other person. You get? Nobody will agree with you.
Competent people.
Yes, because everybody have that. At least you have many ministries. So from other regions, you see people who are competent to handle some other ministry so that you can be fair to everybody.
Okay.
Now, similar thing were leveled against former President Buhari,
Okay.
that he was appointing, he wasn't really following it, things like that. Now, and it was APC.
Okay.
Now, we have another APC in government, and they were expecting some level of correction to show that no, APC is not like that, that we talk about our inclusiveness and everything. But the same thing that was repeated by the former president is what is repeated in this administration. Now, that level of nepotism that is being mentioned, some people have evidences, and that's why we have these lists.
Okay.
And it's generating a lot of controversies from the other areas. Hi, being from the West, I want a country in which everybody, everywhere you go to, you get it, you can feel sense of inclusiveness. At least your people from that area can be involved in the government, can be in key areas, not just ordinary area that will not really, there are key areas.
Strategic appointments.
Yes, strategic appointments that will show that, okay, you two have decision making in the government.
Okay.
So
all right, Mr. Kundayo, I'll come back to you. Let's bring in Prince Nixon Okwara into this conversation. Now, Prince Nixon, you are an APC chieftain. Clearly, I introduced you as one. Now, when President Buhari was in government, the same charge of nepotism rented the air. But the people before him, I mean, talking about Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, like that, this thing that is transiting from Buhari to Tinubu, is it in the character of the APC government to be nepotistic? What is it about the APC? Is it a party policy that, look, anytime somebody from APC gets into office, he's going to corner a chunk of national resources in terms of appointment to his region? What's your reaction to that, sir?
Let me be clear from the onset. Political appointment to me, my perception about what to get.
Can you repeat yourself?
I said, let's be clear about this whole appointment to me is self-serving.
Okay.
In to even the military, to wherever, and what did the South is getting in politics, and what made me supported President Tinubu's emergence is those policies that affect the masses, the people. But when you look at what we think we are practicing, the root cause of the problem is that federal character you're calling, the constitutional problem. The problem Nigeria is going through, whether you bring Mr. A or Mr. B, there will still be a uproar over these appointments because of the fact that our constitution is skewed in a form that it benefits the elite. I see it as a constitution by the elites, of the elites, and for the elites. That is what I think our constitution is. So when you even look at these appointees and the federal character and all the rest of them, they are just a tool in the hand of the few to continue to manipulate the polity and the people and the masses. So does it make any difference? Does that put the roads on the streets of Imo State or Anambra State on each other? It doesn't. Rather, it takes more children of these people to overseas, to America for bigger educational standard and living standard. When you look at the source of our law, our constitution, where we draw these quotations of section 14 and all those meaningless sections everybody's quoting, We should compare it with other countries that are practicing die, like America, which when you talk about equity, inclusiveness, and and that is under the affirmative action. When you look at that, then it is not controlled by the elite. It is even practiced even in the public sector. And it is a law that affects individual. It doesn't affect a tribe. It affects those like women, young children, disability act, and the rest of them. You go to England, they have the Equity Act. You go to Canada, the same kind of act. Even to India, all these people put the whole thing in the system. It's working as an institution that makes everybody inclusive in the society, irrespective of where you come from. But what do you have in the federal character? You have just a statement somebody made because the president, okay, a quota must go to the north. Then you bring people that are not half-baked, people that are not even educated, just because you must make them at par with others.
Okay,
And who are these people?
Prince,
It happens to be
I had to butt in at this moment, but permit me to do that. You know, when you say that it is an elite problem, this problem just started about 9 years ago when Obasanjo was in government. Did anybody accuse him of nepotism? I can't recall. When Yaradua was in government, positions were equitably distributed. When Jonathan came into government, in fact, Jonathan seemed to have favored the North more. But all of a sudden, we had a Buhari. He came into government. Who came into government? And everything tumbled upside down. Practically, he handed over the commanding heights of our national life to the North. During that period, of all the 9 security agencies, there was nobody, not even one, from the Southeast. Now, this current president came and he traveled in that direction and probably appeased the Southeast by appointing the Chief of Navy Staff. My question is, if you say it's an elite problem, Obasanjo, Yaradua, Jonathan, were they not part of the elites? How did they handle those problems? So it goes back to my question. Is it an APC thing? Is it in the character of the APC as a party to travel that direction?
Of that. The Southwest complained bitterly under Jonathan. Under Obasanjo, the North also complained seriously under Obasanjo and all the rest of it all. But what you will say is that this thing was seen more under Buhari. And it happens that it's looking as if that we have gone to a point, because when you want to make it a piece of PDP problem, who were the PDP during that time of Obasanjo and APC? You mentioned the likes of Atiku. The only different person that came to join APC is a president who was 80 and had his own party all the years. So he's a new person in the system. So those who are the people you could say if it's a party affair are presently back to PDP and other parties. So it's not a party issue. I don't want people to be always try to put everything on party. APC as a party have our own particular ideology, and I'm not sure that is part of it. In fact, certainly I can speak authoritatively that is not part of that. The unfortunate thing there is that the double standard is that the political leader under the Buhari, who had opportunity to unite us, also kind of carried out a personal agenda on the few of the Northerners. And that widened the division in Nigeria more. It ate into the fabrics of our national unity. I can't hide that because I'm an APC man. And now that we're under President Tinubu, the Southeast are crying, we got the 16. My question is, in all this, from the Jonathan days when the Southeast were more in the government, how did the masses fare from all these appointments? Today, we are talking about this man is from Ondo, from Onshu. Can we trace to their home villages what this appointment has brought to their people? Can we trace it to the streets? What this thing has brought to the people? Did you not see during the COVID, the same people we are calling an appointment were the one hiding the rights that is meant for their people? So why are we disturbing ourselves over the answer? We are just starting from the answer instead of from the problem. We shouldn't be bothered about who goes in there at the meantime. What Nigerians I feel should be clamoring on is this rotten system that we are already embraced, which I feel the president is trying to break even. And all of the Nigerians are joining those who created this faulty system to fight the president who is trying to untie this bondage we have been in. That is the constitution. And when you look at what is happening in the floor of the Senate today, talking about constitutional amendment, how many of us shouting today is interested in what is going on there? to understand that tomorrow that document that they are going to produce will be the first document that could say Nigerians are coming together by sending representatives to look at that, apart from what was handed over to us. But as of that, the affirmative, the federal character system we are running in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, is not something anybody should look into to look for justice or equity. Until we run a system that promotes justice and equity, we will continue to cry over division and
Okay.
disunity.
Okay, Prince Nixon, I think I'll have to come back to you so that we can get a clear definition of what you mean by justice and equity. In the meantime, let's come back to the studio where we still have Mr. Lawal Ekunda. Now, Mr. Lawal, some people, especially those in the government and APC stalwarts, have defended the president by saying that, look, former President Buhari did the same thing, and the same people that are kicking now remained mute. Now, does that mean that hiding under the cloak of history to support nepotism, people say, look, why are you complaining? After all, Buhari did the same thing. Now, that Buhari did the same thing, does that make it right?
No. Why?
And how far can that take us in our road to nation building?
See, if you don't complain, if somebody step on you and you don't complain, if you step on the person and the person complain, each one has his own right. In your own right, you refuse to complain. That means you are okay with it. So if you step on somebody else and the person complain, that means it's not okay with it. You can't tell the person not to complain because you didn't complain. So they shouldn't be comparing. If somebody didn't complain in the last administration and somebody is complaining this administration, you can't use that as an excuse.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at that time you were okay with it.
Okay. All right then. All right, Mr. Kundayo, please let's bring in Barrister Asim Adams into the conversation now. Good evening to you, Barrister Asim Adams.
Yeah, good evening to you, Mr. Koro. Good evening, Nigerians.
Okay. Good to have you on Political Lens. Now let's get into it.
Yeah.
Look, we are discussing the president's appointments. Some people like Atiku Abubakar, Alin Dume, and a lot of Nigerians have also complained that, look, the president seems to favor his region, the Southwest, in terms of appointments. I read out there are almost 72 departments and agencies of government headed by people from the Southwest, from the CBN, the military, Bureau of Public Enterprise, customs, immigration, and practically everything, what some people call strategic appointments. 72 of them clearly made to the Southwest. Now, we understand that some of these appointments are statutory, like the ministers and all of that. Each state gets to get one minister, at least one minister per state. Now, what level of compliance does the Constitution demand from the president with regard to appointments in MDAs, like board appointments, ministries, agencies and departments, agencies of government? Is he at liberty to choose whomsoever he wants to appoint? Clearly speaking, by law, is he bound by the federal character principle in all his appointments, whether they are statutory, whether it is his kitchen cabinet, whether it has anything to do with appointment of principal secretaries, appointment of secretary to the state government, chief of staff, and all of that? What level of demand, does the Constitution have on the president in compliance with the federal character principle?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Barrister Adams. I can hear you clearly.
The compliance is strict compliance. Legally speaking, the Constitution, Section 14 sub 3, that is Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution, states that, yes, the president is at liberty to select those he wants to make ministers, select those he wants to make senior special assistants or aides to him. But insofar he has our discretionary powers, but he must have to work under Section 14 sub 3 of the 1999 Constitution that says that he must imbibe and follow stricto sensu Section 14 sub 3 that says that you must spread it on equal basis, what is now called the federal character. So if the person goes out of that, even though he has the discretion to select those people or the aides or ministers that want to work with him in the government, he has to look at the spread, geographical spread equally, as the case may be. So which means all zones in Nigeria must have a feel or a bite of that discretionary powers the president has. He cannot go outside of it. Section 14 of 3 is very clear. And that is where the federal character emanates from. Unfortunately, this particular president has not followed that. His appointment has been skewed against a setting or some certain sections or zones of the country. And that is an aberration. That is anathema to the Constitution. So what the president is doing is that he has jettisoned Section 14 sub 3 and now acting arbitrarily on his own to use and overuse that discretionary powers. The Supreme Court has said in a litany of decided cases that where a man, a public officer, or a political office holder, is faced with using his discretion, that discretion must be used judiciously and judicially to make sure that there's equity and equitable distribution of these appointments. So if the president is going outside of that particular, demand of the Constitution, especially Section 14 sub 3, then the president has run far. This is gross misconduct, which is even an impeachable, misconduct.
Yes, I was coming to that. If you say he has violated a section of the Constitution, like you said now, like rightly said that it constitutes an impeachable offense. Do you think that we have a National Assembly that can question the presidency on what he has done so far?
The National Assembly is a kangaroo National Assembly. With due respect to them, the National Assembly as composed right now is an arm of the executive arm of government. The National Assembly is an assembly that lead the boot of the executive. The National Assembly is not an independent National Assembly. The National Assembly is a biased National Assembly. It's an assemblage of people who are bootlickers, an assemblage of people who do the bidding, what we call the dirty work of the president. They are not able carrying out the functions as demanded by the Constitution that says they have what they call oversight function or checks and balance on the executive. They don't have it. They lack the willpower. Morally speaking, they don't have such willpower. An assembly or National Assembly that is composed of men that cannot even look at the president eyeball to eyeball and say, no, this is not what we are doing. The Constitution says you should not do this. It is not a National Assembly that you can rely on. It's a national, in fact, in Nigeria today, I say instead of us having 3 arms of government, the executive, the judicature, and the